Welcome back. Welcome back. It was a long fucking weekend. Um, you know, we got an advance in there. There's a lot of bitching. Let me rewind. Welcome back to Inside the Lab with your host, the one and only CP. Um, you know, long weekend, no podcast, no nothing. A lot of shit going on in the MML. A lot of shit going on in the group me right now. We have a great show for you lined up today, man. The GOAT himself, Nick Taddy, will be on. Um, Joining here in about 5 to 7 minutes here, and then we're gonna keep it rolling. I want to go over a couple things real quick. Let's welcome back Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Coach Marcellus. Welcome back Denver, the one and only brother. Glad to have you guys back in the group me. Glad to have you back and active in the chat. You know, it's just good to have, basically all 32 teams back in the chat. I know how it gets. People leave, people do this, they get frustrated, wins, losses, whatever. But just happy to see all you guys back, to be honest. Um, we're gonna run down. Advance should be happening here. I think there's one game left. Advance should be happening here in the next couple hours. So if I don't mention you got a force win, or you're playing the computer. So let's start it off. ATL with a convincing win over Miami, 64-20. Man, I really like what Atlanta's doing down there this year. I mean, 8-3. I don't believe they have anyone really trying to steal the division from them. I mean, I think it's theirs to lose. I think they win a couple more games. They should have it locked up. Oh, Kansas City 31 over the Titans 28 in a battle. Kansas City is, when this kid is locked in, when Ramsey is locked in, I don't think you can find anyone better. I mean, I think he runs that NFC uh, AFC West when he's locked in. I know Seth is up there a little bit, but I mean, I like how Kansas City plays football. He's currently 9-3, so we'll see. We'll see what he can do here. Titans lose and it drops them to 2-9. Coach Cambone, he's always had maybe up and down year so far. So we'll look to see what he can do in the draft. He'll probably draft another superstar X Factor quarterback, trade him for 7 picks, and you know be right back in there. Seattle. Seattle just keeps on rolling. They beat the Ravens 28-16. I mean, Seattle's now, I believe, 11-0. I think he's the only undefeated team left. Kudos to Coach Coop. I mean, he's just doing great things up there in Seattle. The loss drops the Ravens to 5-6, I believe. So still not out of the playoff picture, but he's got to string a couple more wins together here shortly. Welcome back, Tampa. Tampa just beat the Patriots 49-20-21. The Patriots are now 6-6 at 500. I don't know who this guy is. I think his name's Little Dougie. But Little Dougie, I mean, great. It's great to have you in the league, chatting it up. You're competitive at 6-6. That win brings Tampa up to 4-7. Dallas 19 over Philly 16. Dallas's first win of the year. He's now 1-10, and Philly is 0-11. There's no secret here, fellas. We all know what Philly's trying to do. We're trying to get that number one pick. Man, we need a quarterback. I don't even know if it will help me or the Eagles, but that's what we want. That's what we're trying to do. Very good game in Dallas earlier. The Washington football team, 34 over the Snowhawks, 7. The Washington football team is now 4-7, and the Snowhawks are now 5-6. So, the Snowhawks aren't out of it. Either is Washington football team. They put together a couple wins here, man. I remember a couple seasons back, they strung some wins together at the end of the year, and they beat out Coach Dale and the New York Giants for that division, for our division. And maybe you could do the same thing. You see, Coach Levi he's a good, fundamentally sound football player, football coach. He'll never be one to get 11 to 12 wins. He's always around five. He's a lot like myself. We're always right around 500. The Rams. I don't know if you would call this an upset. Record wise, it technically is an upset. The Rams go into Jacksonville and beat them. Uh, I'm not sure. I didn't write down a Rams score. I'm an idiot. But I know the Jaguars scored looks like 15 points. That loss drops the Jags down to 9-2. That win brings the Rams up to 7-4. Now look out when Coach Juwan's locked in. There's no one better. The Jags have a firm hold on that NFC or AFC South, so I mean he's going to have you know another division title under his belt, and he's going to walk into the playoffs, possibly AFC Championship game against the Brownies. We'll see. The Niners get back in the win column, 47 over the Big Roy and the Panthers, 25 or 47-25. That loss drops the Panthers down to 4-7. That win brings the Niners up to 6-5. Um, you know, 4 games back for Carolina and Tampa. I just don't think they're catching Atlanta. The Niners are probably going to be. They're probably going to sneak into the wild card, and we'll see if you can make noise. Cards, 56. Mexico City, 22. Mexico City's 3-8. He's looking on the next year. Cards 10-2. He's looking for that first round bye. So there you have it. That's the week's recaps. I just want to bring up one or two things before we get Coach Taddy on. We have the game of the week coming up, hopefully here in about an hour or so, maybe a little less. We got the 8-3 Chicago Bears at Detroit, who's 9-1. I don't believe this is the takeover first place, but the Bears have a good football team. The Lions love Chris Olave and they love throwing the ball. So I don't know if the Bears can, if the Bears can stop that, what we'll have. But I like the Bears here going into Detroit and beating the Detroit Lions 31-24. And then one more thing before Coach Taddy comes on is what's going on in Buffalo? Does anyone know what's going on in Buffalo? He's been super active in the chat, hemming and hawing about, I don't know, God knows what, calling out the commissioners. I just want to set the record straight. I think the commissioners are doing a wonderful job. Joey is on top of everything. B Mill comes in, lays the law down. I mean, there's nothing really more you can ask for. I mean, Coach Jaffe over there in Buffalo thinks it's all about just hitting a button, and I don't believe that it is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you got to give out force wins, you got to give out this, you got to sim games, you got to all this stuff you got to keep track of, and he's just at their necks constantly. It's like, I mean, come on, Jaff. Also, there's rumblings about he may go on auto. It's like we've heard the same old story from you before. You're 10-1 now. You just got beat by the Browns. You're calling it the game of the week. I watched it. Wasn't the game of the week. Are you going on auto again? Because if you go on auto and the New England Patriots make a run, you may lose that division. I mean, it's like the writing's on the wall. It's like we've seen this how many times before. We're in season 4, and I mean, he's. I get it together, figure it out. There, I did see something that he may bring his Xbox with him, may not. I don't know. Doesn't trust the commissioners, whatever. But like get it together, figure it out. You know what I mean? So right now we're gonna have Coach Taddy. I'm just hitting him up to tell him to come in. Um, Coach Taddy of the Cleveland Browns, Green Bay Packers, Tampa Bay Bucks, the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, he's up there with the goat. He probably is the goat. I know B Mills trying to get him, but we haven't seen B Mill have as much success with Super Bowl victories as Coach Taddy has. I mean, think he's got at least 8 to 10 Super Bowls. I think right now, joining us is head coach of the Cleveland Browns, Coach Nick Taddy. How we doing, Nick?
Doing great, man.
What's
Pleasure to
going
be
on?
on.
Yeah, pleasure to have you. I really appreciate you taking out the time to, talk to the, let us fill us in on, what's going on in Cleveland and, letting the MML hear your voice. And, the one thing I think you said to me is like, you just wanted to settle this goat talk. Right,
Absolutely.
because Joey was on last week and he was saying, he thinks maybe you've lost a step or lost a little bit of luster, and B Mills chomping at your bit to, get that number one spot. But you think that you're still up there?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the accolades speak for itself in every single category. Do you want me to just kind of begin of, where it all
Yeah,
started,
just
Madden
tell
20?
us. Yeah, just tell us how you got into, because you're an original nine member. Just
Yeah.
tell us who hit you up, how you got into the league, and we'll go from there.
Yes, I mean, I've played Madden my whole life. Definitely my favorite game. Love football the most. I was a COD player, Fortnite player, all that, but sports games always number one for me, especially Madden. I used to love like the Ultimate Team, all that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really began with COVID. Without COVID, I don't think any of it would have really been possible, to be honest. Like not going into the office, a lot more free time. Yeah, so Joey and B-Mill, I think, hit me up. Most of the core guys were just our friends from Effectin, like the ones, usually on Xbox. I think it was like, what, 8 or 9 of us originally?
Yeah, it's
Jaffe,
not. Yep.
B-Mill, Joey, Coop, yourself, your brother. I can't even remember who else really filled in the rest. Like,
So it was actually me, Brian, B. Heggs, you, Tuck, and who the fuck? Jaffe,
yeah,
Andrew, and then it was Mark, and then our two buddies. The one dude was name's Bill, and the other one was John, the donor. Used to be
yeah,
the Eagles. Yeah,
yeah, great owner.
yeah.
But
He's
yeah, just some
just
guys
a
who love
legend.
football.
Right,
So
right.
I think we started off. How long did we last with just like 8 or 9? Was it like one
It
season?
wasn't. It was like I think it was like the middle of the first season where we started to get guys like Joey
Yeah,
and Rob Gambrone and like all those guys started to come in. It had to be either late first season or early like second season because I think we were filled up pretty
yeah.
quick.
I
You
mean, yeah,
know?
everybody working from home. I feel like we got those 32 users pretty quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, put down some notes to the side if you see me looking to the right, just
Yeah.
of
No,
what
that's
I'm
fine.
looking at. Just some bullet points. But I'll start from the top of my goat debate and kind of settling it, just going through the years. But Madden 20, we obviously started off with that initial draft. That was the Chargers. We had the AFC West of me, Coop, Tuck, and Jaff at the time. I did win 6 straight Super Bowls in that. I remember that. And then I went down the beach, and I remember, I was playing. I brought the Xbox down the beach, family vacation. I was playing on the big screen, and that's when Coop got me. I went up 14-0, I think, to start that game. Coop got me. He beat me, and then I think B-Mill beat Coop in 20.
He did. There were. I now I remember that there was lagging issues, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I was debating honestly not playing. I remember because the beach house was a piece of shit, like the connection. So I was like, I mean, I could try to give it my best, and I did. I got like 2 fluky plays to start, but 6 year Super Bowls prior to that, right in a row. I think I told you before I joined this, but I did go back through my Twitter of when we had the MML Twitter going on, and I had a bullet point when I submitted a job request for like a fantasy football job. I was just clowning around. I put like, avid Eagles fan, like follow Baldy on Twitter, all this bullshit. And then I put down 127-4 record in MML with 6 straight Super Bowls. That was one of the bullets. So to get to that record, I think it was probably close to like a 90 game win streak somewhere along those lines.
So
But
yeah, I'm just doing the math real quick, and if you won, let's say you won, we're just going to be, we'll say you went 13 wins a year, right? Just to
yeah,
keep it like,
I mean,
so you
I was
probably
thinking
had
like
more.
I
What do
was
you think,
thinking closer to
14?
like 19 for a little stretch because the 16 game season
Well,
and
okay, I
then
was thinking
the
regular
three
season,
games
but
playoff.
so
Yeah,
16, we'll say 16. We'll just say
yeah,
13 in the regular season and 3 in the postseason. So we'll go 16, and then you said 6 in a row, right?
yeah.
I mean, that puts you at 96
Yeah,
wins.
but then probably, with the losses mixed in overall, like it came out to like somewhere around 124.
Right,
But I
right.
don't know how many were in a row at one point exactly. I'd love to know. Joe
Yeah.
used to write it in the recap sometimes, but I truly don't know. I was just rolling through opponents. My team was stacked. I feel like half the kids at the league at that time though didn't really like get the game or didn't really care to get better at the time. They were just kind of having
Right.
fun with it, which I totally get. So, that put me at 6, and then it put B Mill at 1 at the time, just going back to the bowl count. And then I remember I was talking to somebody on the side, and I was like, I'm thinking about hanging it up, but I wanted to pass Brady at the time. That was my goal. So I was like, I'm going to get Brady at 6 at the time. This was
Right.
before Tampa. So I was like, all right, I'm going to run it one more time. So I got 7. I think B Mill had 1, and then I retired. I was like, I
Okay.
literally have a picture of me hanging it up, the little Madden screen saying where I placed in the Hall of Fame, and it said like after 8 seasons. So I think that's pretty accurate. I don't know what happened after I left, but I sent a Will Ferrell stay classy in San Diego
That's
joke.
right. Because I
Bounce.
think a little bit after you left, because you left like I think there was only maybe one or two seasons after
Yep.
that before 20, I guess 21 came out, and then I mean you came back with the Packers.
Yep. So then going to 21, I remember we all did the draft again. And so back to 20, though, real quick. I mean, I'm not just saying this because I obviously had good success in 20, but I felt like 20 was the best Madden out of the last 3 years.
It's
My
been yeah.
reasoning behind it was I think the O line blocked the best. It was very real. I remember I picked Dalvin Cook, who was obviously amazing, but I felt like the blocking was more emphasized in that one, which is why I really liked it. So we went into 2021. The reason why I'm saying that is because I kind of prioritized the O line. I went
Right.
and I literally picked like Quentin Nelson, like I forget,
All the
Cowboys left
studs.
tackle, yeah, Lane Johnson. I picked like the
Right.
best line, and I had Zeke, I think, and I
You
picked
did have
Haskins.
Zeke. Yeah.
Yeah. So with GB, my team was more built around the run and everything, but then that game was one of the ones where Jawan, for example, picked an X Factor D tackle who just blows up Quentin Nelson every time.
Right.
So it's kind of like, all right, I built my whole team around something that doesn't even matter in this game.
Right. Right.
So I tried to get like Amari Cooper, who honestly sucks in that game. I tried to make some trades. My defense was loaded, but I didn't win shit with GB. I think I lost to B-Mill in a Super Bowl. I remember he recovered an onside kick. He came back. I was a dumbass. I didn't chew the clock. I thought I had it in the bag. He came back. He beat me. Jawan definitely beat me, I think, once or twice. And then Joey played like the best football game ever with the Cowboys, and he beat me in the NFC ship. So, where I'm getting at with that is I think we did pre-nuke about 6 years or so of Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I didn't have any. I think Jawan had about 2 or 3. Joey had 1. B-Mill probably had about 2 or 3.
Right.
So just going with those first 2 years, my Super Bowl count would probably be at like what, like 7 to, no, not even yet, because post nuke. Forgot
Right.
about
So,
post nuke.
like, if you're talking about pre-nuke and with your Green Bay,
Yeah.
you didn't have any.
Nope.
So you still have the what you had 7 with Los Angeles.
Chargers. Yeah.
So that's all you have so far. And then post-nuke is when redraft you get Tampa, and
Oh
then
yeah. Changed
that
up the whole
team.
strategy at that point. Went
That's
full weapons, built it towards that game. Herbert, Hamler, I forget who else I had, but Herbert and Hamler were my 2 guys.
real quick before you start getting into it. I
Yeah.
think. I mean, listen, John should have never nuked the league, regardless. But I think it actually benefited
Oh,
some people, right? So it benefited
absolutely.
you.
I
It
was pumped.
benefited me because, like, we all knew the game at that point because we were. I mean, it must have been 6 to 8 seasons we were in, so we knew how the gameplay was. We knew what we like to do on the offense side,
Yep.
defense side, right? So, like, and then like Joe, I thought Joey did like I know like going into when you got picked Green Bay, like me and you are in the same division, right?
Yep.
And like I've never beaten you. I've come
London
close a couple of
Bulldogs.
times. Yeah, it was the London
Yeah.
Bulldogs, and I mean to me that's just an easy win for you. So you could just look at your calendar, say, oh, the Bulldogs 2 wins, but when Joey he broke down the divisions, and I think he did a phenomenal job. He placed, I mean, because that after that nuke, it was like my division was, I think it was me, Z, Ahmad, and the other dude, I forget his name, but like it was more,
Fair, yeah.
yeah,
It was
you know what I
balanced,
mean?
balanced.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
before the nuke, what we were doing at the time to make it so, the best guys could meet each other in the end
Right.
we were separating us all and putting us as the
Right.
tops in each division and then dividing it up from there. But
Correct.
then we obviously came up with a better idea to make it better for everybody, of
Right.
putting I remember I played in Jawan's division. I think I've been in Tuck's division all fucking 3
Yeah,
years.
I'm
Guy
pretty
drives me
sure you
nuts.
have.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he was in my division every year, but yeah, then we started separating it that way.
Yeah, but I mean, fuck you, John, for the nuke. But I think it might have been one of the best things to
Oh,
happen to our league is because then we all got reclassified, and then we did the redraft, and obviously you knew what you liked to do, right? So then you knew who you wanted. You know
yeah,
what I
and
mean?
I remember even my roommate at the time, his name's Kevin Bauer. A lot of people in the league know him. He used to be in the league. I went up to him. I was like, dude, I told him what happened. I knocked on his door. His kid's always got the door locked, working hard, working from home. And I was like, yo, this is like an emergency. Like, I need you to open the fucking door. And I was like, dude, like John just nuked the whole league. And he looked at me with like the biggest eyes. He's like, what the fuck happened? I was like, yo, this might be the best thing that happened to me. I was like, I fucking hate my team.
Right.
And like, I'm one of those guys, if you notice every one of my drafts, I pick straight 21, 22, 23, because I'm not good at like, I never have picks, so I never draft good.
Right.
I'm not good with like the creative player shit. Like, I don't follow it at all. I just like to
Right.
get on, play, and that's kind of how I always am.
And you're also a guy that, like, let's be real. Like, if you get like a normal or a
Yeah, you can upgrade.
star receiver, running back, or quarterback, you can dev them up because you're
Yeah.
always up there. Like, if you get a star running back, right, you'll just keep running the ball, or you'll
Yeah.
ask me to for my running back,
Yeah,
and
it's
I'll
good to
just give
say.
it
For
to
some reason,
you.
I feel like I give you Matt Breida or like Naeem
Yeah,
Hines every year.
right. And then, I mean, with like a quarterback, I mean, you had well, just like Herbert wasn't any like take it back to Tampa Bay. Herbert was probably like a star,
He was like a
right?
76, and I picked him with like the 10th pick in the draft, and everyone was
Right,
like, "What the fuck's he doing?" I was like, "Yo,
right.
just watch. The dude's
Yeah,
like
and then
23. All that matters is the throw power, the speed. Like you'll get the rest up."
and by the
Same.
time he was 25, 26, you had him at an X Factor. You had
Oh yeah,
KJ Hamler as an X Factor. I forget who else you had,
that's how I
but
approach all these teams, man. You get the young talent, you get them up, and you sign them to like 6, 7 year deals.
right. And then
But
I mean,
even Tyree Jackson, like the dude was like a
oh yeah,
68 or some shit, and I was like, "All right, he's got an arm and he's fast."
right. And then now, it's so funny. He was a quarterback back then, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now he's the Eagles tight end. You
yeah,
know,
I went to
That's-
the open practice with Heggs, B Heggs, the Jets in the league, and Tyree was like low key putting on a show at tight end.
yeah.
We were just cracking up.
I think honestly, like if they work with him a little bit, he could be like he's an athlete, so like he can like do shit. Like so, I think he could be like a good like
Yeah, like a Waller or some
right,
shit.
right. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? You just got to give him an opportunity. And I mean, unfortunately, he got hurt this year, but whatever. All right, well, keep
yeah.
going with the.
So yeah,
You got
back to 21. I'll stop you there. But back to 21. Once we did the nuke, I won the next two or three. I can't remember
right,
if it was three. I know it was definitely two because I remember Hamler and Herbert both had an MVP. The one I beat Tuck in the stream cut off was the first one when I went down to Tampa. It was literally like one of the best games ever
yeah,
played. And then I think I beat B-Mill in the second one, but I could be wrong about that. Or maybe it was Jawan. I think it was Jawan, actually.
yeah,
But yeah, that put me at about two. We'll just say two. I'll undercut it. I don't even know if it was three, considering none pre-nuke. So,
right,
if you add that up by now, we're at 9 to, I guess, one from the first year of B-Mill. I'll give him three for the second year. So about 9 to 4 at that point.
right,
And then everyone knows, head to head, I've gotten him in a lot of Super Bowls. I think
yes,
regular season, I've gotten him most of the time. I don't know our official head to head record, but he's definitely got me a few. I've gotten him most of the time, I'd say, like somewhere around like 20-8. I'm just like
right,
guessing a record, but we've played each other a ton.
right,
And I respect his game. A lot of the difference is like when you get to like those kind of playoff games is like, you got like I think Jaffe was saying like you got your main plays everybody knows and you see them a ton. Like you got to be able to come up with some other shit on the fly and
right,
adapt. And that's the one thing, of course, I respect about B-Mill's game is he knows a ton of football. So me and him will be messing each other after the game like, dude, I can't believe you switched from like cover 2 man to like cover 3 in that spot. Like you threw me off. Like that's the type of shit we're thinking of, like where the safeties are at and everything.
right. Because we were
Real into
talking
it.
about Jaffe and I were talking about how like you have these some teams like not like saying they're bad teams, but you got like the Bills, Detroit, a
Yeah.
couple of these other teams, right? And they only run I don't know a few plays, right?
Yeah.
And so like if you're playing them, right, it's like you see that. I mean, like I watched the stream last night.
Yeah.
Jaffe was he ran that what you would call it,
Yep.
the
Yeah,
shotgun
credit
dive.
to him, man. He's
Uh,
taking what I gave him.
Right,
I'm sitting there the whole time, like, you want to do this all game? Go ahead. And he
right.
was doing it all game, and it was working. I texted him after the game. I'm like, dude, great game plan. Like, it's an awesome job. Like, you went out there and just took what I gave you the whole time, except for a couple
But see,
picks he threw.
exactly. But that's my point. It's like when he like you would almost know like when he's doing pass plays, like you know which ones are coming
Yep. Yeah. And then you got to
because
adjust.
he only runs a certain amount of plays, and like for a guy like you know, who's really good at the game, it's like easier to like see that and recognize it. And for a guy like me, it's like I need to see that and recognize it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And like,
And
oh, you got it. My bad.
no, you're good. No, you're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I call my shit like honestly based off of what they're doing and how they come out. Like
Right.
I'm not just I used to be, a nickel Tampa 2 guy, refused to get to like the 3-3-5, but in this game it's just the best. Somebody said it early on, like adapt or join or adapt or
Right.
die, and like that's the way it is in this one. So, I do call the same plays now all the time because it's the best play in the game. But
Yeah, and I mean literally everyone does it, so it's like
yeah,
you gotta do
but
it,
when
you
he
know.
comes out in that same shit, we just got the running back to his right, three guys on the left. Like I know what I like to call in that spot. He runs it the entire game, so I'm gonna run mine the whole game. But if he
Right.
starts, getting multiple tight ends in there, mixing it up, like I'm gonna start mixing my shit up too.
Then you change and you adjust.
Yeah,
People don't realize this game is about adjustments. You got to come out and then you got to see what the other person's doing, and then boom, you adjust on it. Like
yeah,
because
it's
I've seen
very
a
very real, except for like the deep zone coverage. That's a
yeah,
lot of times you can just beat that shit. But that's just every video game.
yeah, nah, yeah, you're right.
But yeah,
Oh,
you got it.
no, I
Continue.
was just gonna say like so you had two or three with Tampa, right?
Yep,
And then so
7 before with Chargers.
yeah, so set you're at about nine, and you said B
Yeah.
Mill's probably at maybe five,
Yeah, I'd give
which
him 3 for year 2. I'd give him. I know he had 1 before I
right.
left for the first one, so I put him about at 4 right now.
Four, okay, and then which is really cool that you hit me up and said, "Yo, can I come on?" And I was like, "Yeah, of
Yeah,
course." And then B Mill will be on tomorrow, so
of
now
course.
we'll be able to see
So
what he
when I
has to
found out he
say.
was going on the week before, I was like, it kind of felt like some Eminem like rap battle shit at the end. I was like, I hope he goes first. Hear all the shit he's got to say, and then
Right,
go
right,
because
right.
I feel like he'll come on saying some different things. But overall, me and BMO have been drunk and seeing each other at parties and shit. We
Right.
always talk MML. We
Ah,
got
yeah.
respect. We got a ton of respect for each other because we know each other knows the game. It's all
Ah,
about
yeah.
those minor adjustments, who makes the mistakes, all that shit come playoff
Yeah.
time.
100%. So then that leads up until this year.
Yeah.
Um, you got the Cleveland Browns. You got put in the obviously you got put in the one of the two powerhouse divisions. And what did you do to like? What was your mindset like going? Because you know how we waited for a while to do the draft because we were waiting for
Yeah.
whatever that I think it was the scouting thing, but we ended up actually
Yeah. We bagged it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you play a lot during
So
that
I was
time
gonna say
or
I honestly got so sick and tired of Madden after the last one because it was like the number one game I play all the time. Even when I'm not playing MML, I go on and play head to head.
right?
I used to play the Ultimate Team. Now I don't put the time in. But I play Players Lounge a little bit. That's when I started getting into Players Lounge. B-Mail told me about it at a party one time. Like he was making a couple $100 doing that, whatever. I was like,
What
honestly, if
is
I'm
what is Players Lounge?
it's basically an app where you can go on and play any video game for money, but you set the match amount.
Oh,
They take their fees. So if you win
right.
25 bucks, we'll say they take like $4 of it, like
Oh
that type
shit!
of shit.
I
It's
didn't
fun. You
even
can
know
just
that. Yeah.
literally do like ranked match, the dollar amount you want, and instantly play somebody. A lot of kids on there. I mean, people would hate. They play so glitchy. Everybody's the
Really?
Chiefs. Everybody has their
Yeah.
few plays.
Right. Right.
Pain in the ass. It's a lot of work every snap, just trying to like stop the same play over and over.
Yeah.
But
All right. So what was your mindset right going into? So what my
yeah,
question was, what was your mindset going into the draft? Like, did you
absolutely.
know who you wanted? Like,
So I was texting Forrest at the time, and I was like, dude, honestly, I didn't even know if I was going to join the league. So I was like, I'm pretty like fucking tapped out from this shit. It's like if I don't win the Super Bowl, it's a failure every single
right,
year. I
right,
mean, I
right.
love the guys, I love the camaraderie, I love playing. It's kind of like our little mini fraternity. So I
It really
ride for it. I
is.
was never in
Yeah.
a frat, so it's kind of like you guys are all my boys. But
Right.
going into the draft, I didn't play that much because it was kind of beach season at the time, like the summer or whatever.
Yeah.
Before Madden's always August, so I was like kind of going down the shore. I was kind of lost my love for it a little bit. I was thinking about like taking a little time out of it and just playing Players Lounge. And then we found out we were getting all these good guys in the league. Like I can't miss the draft. The draft's like the best day of
Yeah.
the year. That
Right.
got me into it. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely in again. But But my strategy going in was, I learned from 21. I was just fuck O-line. The O-line is fucking irrelevant. I was like, I'm literally just always number one pick. You got to get a quarterback. So
Right.
I was sitting there at the end. I wanted Josh Allen so bad. And then I wanted Trey Lance even worse, like afterwards. And then I was left with Zach Wilson. I wasn't going to take him because I was like, I knew a Henry Ruggs would probably go around the wrap. So I picked Zach Wilson. I was like, I got to get my quarterback. I'll worry about receiver later. Picked Zach Wilson, got Henry Ruggs, loaded up on weapons, KJ Hamler, just speed everywhere.
Right.
Got to get an X Factor D lineman somewhere. Major key. Patrick Queen was an early pick. But yeah, overall, the strategy was fuck O-line, get weapons, get speed. Always the strategy.
Now, why do you think, like, because it doesn't make any sense, right? Because, like, I had a totally different strategy. Like, when I was the Atlanta Falcons, my whole strategy was I'm going to run the ball, so I want the best O line. So my first, I don't know, 3 or 4 picks were O linemen, and they would go up against X Factor. I don't get why this happens when it's ridiculous.
Honestly, though, I love hearing you say that because, like, I love watching the trenches and shit on, like, Twitter and stuff like that. And, like, I wish that it was the case where, like, if you have 6 guys blocking a 3-3-5, you should get 5 yards every time. Like, I respect that you'd be thinking, maybe I'm not the best at throwing the ball.
Right.
I'm going to build my team around the run, third and shorts, all that shit. Like, that's smart. And I like the different identities of all the teams. And I'm like, it's just broke. Like, they're helpless. You have a 99 Quentin Nelson going against an 80 X Factor D line. It doesn't even matter.
Right. It doesn't make any sense. I got like, it's like they just blow them out of the water. And it's like, what's the point of having a superstar O lineman if they're not going to block those
come
guys?
Up with something to counter it. It would really change the whole game. It would get people out of 3-3-5. It would let you build your team like differently. Like I had the same approach in 21. I was like, I had great success with Dalvin. I was like, I'm going to pick line and Zeke.
Right.
And then pound the ball, and it just was a nightmare.
Yeah, I just don't get, because then for me, it's like, I got to switch my strategy up because.
You know what else really fucked it, which I was going to talk about towards the end, is the fact that you can change abilities because everybody puts inside zone on.
Yeah.
Before, like, one D tackle had it. Now every single player in the league has it.
And I think Jaffe and I, or Ahmad and I, or someone, we were talking about, like, how because that's when him and Seth kind of, remember in the first one, they did whatever they did, and but you couldn't change it, and I love that. Like whoever you got, like Zeke was like a power running back, right? So you couldn't put first one free or whatever it was. He was always bulldozer, but then you get first one free. Like you could just switch it, like how people switch. It
makes people more valuable that wouldn't be valuable. So like if Josh Allen didn't have escape artists, but like we'll say Trey Lance did, instantly Trey Lance is such a better player than Josh Allen in Madden.
Right.
Like that's the type of shit. Or even like you were saying, if one D tackles like a 85 and he's got inside zone, I value him more than the 93 D tackle.
Right, because
it makes it like more fun that the less guys have it. And, like
exactly.
Lamar had his thing, like the trust and like
right.
I don't know.
You could just take that. Yeah, you could just. But like, I just hate how you could just.
Yeah, now everybody's got gunslinger, escape artist, all the shit, the bazooka. Everybody's got the same shit across the board. There's no variety.
Throw it down the field.
Yeah, and as it's smart to adapt. You got to put that shit on.
Right, because like I see like Seth, like he. I mean, granted, Seth has always been a guy who wants to. Yeah. Well, in 21 when he was, or in 20 when he was the Browns, he did run it with Slate all the time. But then like he was
stretch play. That was the time of the stretch.
Right, and then he was like, all right, well the running game's not good. I'm just gonna bomb it deep. But he adjusted and it works out for him. You know what I mean? So currently. You're at one Super Bowl. Did you win it the first year?
No, so I got my little breakdown of the years and kind of what was going on at the time.
Okay.
So I'll kind of run through it, but the Cleveland Browns wise, I'll talk a little bit about myself, and we'll obviously get into the other teams. So I apologize for everyone else. I'm going off about myself a lot, but it's the good debate,
That's what it's all about, though. Whoever comes on, you talk about yourself, man.
So first year, moved into a new apartment with the girlfriend, got a new puppy, all this shit. I'm like not nearly as locked in as I used to be back in my old place, my old guy roommate. Lost to Seth. The puppy was in my feet, not paying attention to shit. Just honestly thought I was going to skate right through. I had Zach Wilson as a star at the time. I always beat Seth in the playoffs. He is always a good player, though. He keeps it close. He airs it out, all that shit. But, yeah, Seth got me. He made a couple plays in that game where I texted him. I was like, dude, like, congrats to you. They're fucking phenomenal plays. Like, I'm happy for you. I hope you win a Super Bowl. But yeah, upgraded Wilson that year to a superstar. So I was like, all right, at least mission complete. My team's so young.
Right.
Marathon, not a sprint. I remember, I think MJ texted me. MJ's Matt Jaffe, for anyone knowing. And I was like, dude, I don't know. I'm a marathon, not a sprint. That's the way I drafted this team.
Right.
So the second year, I lost to Tuck on that punt. You remember he ran a fake with Waller, a
Yes.
sweep,
Yes.
like the goal line to win it, and I knew it was
Yes.
coming. I'm sitting there, I know Tuck. I'm like, this fucker's going for it all. Like,
Right.
you know Tuck, you know he's not settling for OT. So I stopped Waller. He didn't even fall forward. None of the bullshit. I was all hype. I got the ball in my own fucking end zone punt, and I hit a sky punt. Tuck doesn't call fair catch. It's like the longest 1 second ever. He gets it down. Joey Sly. It's like a 68-yard field goal in the fucking,
Yeah, that was
with the
wild.
thing iced. I'm like,
Right.
like it's the greatest kick of all time. So he knocks me out. I'm fucking pissed. I wasn't going for yards at that point or that shit because I was like, all right, the superstar abilities are enough. I just need a ring after year
Right.
one. Year three, I was like, all right, I was. Oh, and also I didn't get a superstar ability that year, or I didn't go from superstar to X Factor with Wilson because I went down to Tampa with my girlfriend for a wedding. So
Okay.
Coach Forrest took over my team
Yes,
for a
that's
couple
right.
weeks.
Yes.
He did his best, but my yards were definitely lower than they would have been.
Yes.
I think I finished like fourth or fifth.
Right.
So yeah, year three, I locked in. I don't really care what seed I end up in the playoffs.
Right.
I know B-Mill probably feels the same way. You see him losing random games and shit. Like,
Right.
we just want to make the playoffs. I know I'm going to have to play Tuck, Bengals, B-Mill, Joey, the usual.
Right.
So yeah, I got in as a 7th seed. Went through the bloodbath of the AFC. Ended up winning the Super Bowl versus Joey. I felt bad. He was telling me he was lagging. I didn't know what the fuck to do. We both agreed to play, and we
Right.
restarted the game a couple times. He threw like a couple pick sixes to start the game, and I started fumbling and giving him the ball back.
Right.
But yeah, I got it done in that one. Got my first ring. And then fourth year, this past year, was all about being an asshole and just getting Wilson to an
Yes.
X Factor. The third year, I also had the NFC West on the schedule. So the schedule was fucking 14
Yeah, it's
of
brutal
18
for you
games.
guys.
It was
Yeah.
impossible.
Right.
So I was like, fuck going for the upgrades then. I'll just wait till next year. Got Wilson to an X Factor last year, but lost to Cincy. Cincy drives me nuts. So, like, going off about Cincy, I think, like, I respect B-Mill's game a little bit more. Since he's a great Madden player, just he doesn't play football kind of the way me and B-Mill do. Like,
Right.
he plays a lot more glitchy, I'd say. But he's great at it. He made me run the 3-3-5. He made me learn a couple new plays to beat his ass. But we always battle. We play each other all the time. And you guys always laugh when I'm like, I don't want to stream and shit, but I don't mind now, like, showing everybody my stream. Earlier
Right.
in year one, I did, obviously, to keep the streak alive. But yeah, like, now when I play Cincy, like, week 17 or Tuck week 17, I'm like, honestly, just sim the game. Like, I don't want to play you and show you
Right.
shit when, like, I know I'm going to play you in the playoffs a week later.
Right. Right.
It's like the Eagles versus the Cowboys or whatever. You're not going to show them everything.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then, yeah, now I'm ready to win. I got the X Factor. My team's fucking loaded. I got a young team. I'm trying to pay everybody. It's a nightmare.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say. So you started off the season with a loss to
Yeah.
Tuck.
We simmed
Now-
it and let the CPU play.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on there. So
Yeah, Tuck launched a stream of just our CPU battling straight up.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. And then
Yeah, it was funny.
That is pretty good. And then now you've ripped off. You beat B Mill week 3. You beat. I mean,
Yeah, had to get that one in.
Yeah.
That was one I had to prove that one to myself.
and really, I mean, you have because we were talking. Everyone who's been on with the Cincy being out this year.
Yep.
And who else?
Tuck's
mean,
been kind of MIA.
It's
but-
been MIA, but
Yeah.
like I'm sure he'll
He'll be
show
there.
up. Yeah, I'm sure he'll show up for the playoffs. But it's really coming down to you. It's going to be you and probably. I mean, I'm looking over it and Jacksonville maybe. And
Always, yeah.
I know you beat him a few times. And that's probably it. Like, so this is. I mean, this is your year really
Yeah.
to get back to the Super Bowl and. The NFC, it's either going to be B Mill and Coop.
I know. I was about to say. I know. I've been listening to the pods. I know that's your boy, Coop.
I'm
I know
telling
you
you.
got the futures bet on Coop.
Listen, I'm telling you. I've watched pretty much every one of his streams, and he can make a deep run, and I think he beat B Mill already. And I mean, who do you think, in the NFC can make that, because you have the Rams, who's Jawan, and when
Yep.
Jawan is locked in, he's a good Madden player. You know what I mean? He's the
course.
one who started the whole drop,
Yeah.
cover, whatever the fuck it's called. And because I really think there's three, maybe four teams that can make the Super Bowl. I think for the NFC at least. I think it's Coop. I think it's B-Mill. I think it's Joey, even though he's having a kind of mediocre year. But I feel like if he gets in there, he'll be all right. And then Jawan could make a run here because he's only 7-4. So who do you think can
Yeah, I
go
mean, when I look at the NFC, it just starts at I know B-Mill, I know his mindset. I know
right,
he's just gonna lock in come playoff time.
right,
And honestly, Coop can talk all the shit he wants, but until he beats B-Mill in a playoff game, I'm not buying in. And that's just what it comes down to. Joey's beaten him before, so Joey gets the nod in my book. Joey versus Coop in terms of power rankings, but Coop's
right,
obviously having a great year. I like to call Coop in my mind's kind of like a Vic Fangio. He's got like the defensive brain every
right,
time he just always loads up on D, plays his like typical great coverages, but where Coop I feel like lacks every playoff time is he's got to have more in offense than just PA crossers. B-Mill is going to
right,
find a way to shut it down, and I started from the top with it. It's just he's got to beat B-Mill in the playoffs before I buy in. And
right.
right now, if
Okay.
you were to ask me who do I expect to be in the Super Bowl, it's always going to be B-Mill in the NFC.
Yeah.
Joey will be hopefully competing. I love when Joey gives him good games because Joey seems to be able to really score on him.
It's with Joey. It's if he doesn't have a quarterback, he's
Yeah, that's
not.
what's the deal with this quarterback right now?
So he drafted. He got Nicky McIntosh. His first round. He traded me like 3 firsts for him, and he was a normal. He was like a
Yeah,
77 or 78 normal, and
that's gonna kill him.
yeah,
It's not his
that's
year if he's got that. I got to be
and
honest.
that's what he was saying. He's like, it's probably going to be a 3 or 2 year, at least till he gets him to a superstar. And I
Yeah,
know he's up there in yards with him now. He's in at least the top four, 4 or 5, at least with the
yeah.
yards wise. So he'll get there. But
So that'll be B-Mill versus Coop. Just jumping ahead. That's what it's gonna be.
so just talking about Jerry, I've asked everybody, what do you think about the whole scandal with
Yeah.
Wooten?
So I got to be real at first. I kind of bought in, there's just too many edits. It seemed shady. But the big thing to me of why I thought he might have maybe edited a couple things was all the shit talking about him not being top eight. Mod's chirping every day. He's not
Yes.
top eight. He's losing to Coop, losing to B-Mill. He's losing the playoffs. So I felt like that might have got to him. So originally on that poll, I was bold. I voted yes. I thought he might have cheated. But then I thought back again, and I'm like, this guy loves the league way too much. He puts so
Yeah.
much heart and effort into the recaps, into the power rankings, everything. I'm like, deep down, I hope he wouldn't do it. I don't think he did.
I just don't think there's any way
Nah.
possible that because like you just said, like he just loves this league too much to do that,
Yeah.
And I think Bry was just having a bad year or
Yeah,
not
it's the it's,
playing
it's the
his
stress, man. He's got
yeah,
the new house, the dog. He's
right,
losing games finally to Joey.
right,
Like starting to hear chirping.
right,
It
yeah.
happens.
So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really like Coop, and I really think he'll get the job done. But we'll see. Come playoff
He's
time, we
just
only
got
have
to. What I challenge Coop is he's got to be prepared on offense. That's what it's going to come
right.
down to. He always plays good D, but
He has
it,
been running the ball a lot more.
yeah,
He's definitely thrown a couple more wrinkles into his offense, but it brings it back to like, can you make the adjustments that you need to do to
yeah,
win the game, and can
it's
you
just a
change up?
different game come playoff time, man. You're just every play. You're not willing to air it out the same way you are all regular season.
Right, because there's so much pressure. Not
Those,
not not even pressure, to stress.
yeah,
Right,
it's like
it's like
those
this.
4th and 2s, 4th and 3s, like your own 30. If you're up a little, you start to consider punting for the first time. You start to think like, am I the Jets? Am I going to try to put one in the corner?
Right,
You
right.
got to cough in corners sometimes, but
Yeah, he's probably
everything's
the
just so intensified. There's little, even like the 4th and inches, you're sitting there like, fuck, if I sneak it, is it going to be glitchy and not let me get it? Is the fullback dive going to fall forward or should I
uh,
pass it? It's fucking stressful.
you never know with them fucking 4th and inches. Them fucking
And
X
those
factor
X
D
factor D
line. I
lines,
mean,
yeah, they
it
blow it
just
up or
busts right
sometimes they
through.
don't.
It's
Yeah.
it's crazy. You never know what you're gonna get. And ugh. So
But yeah, my thoughts on the NFC. I'm trying to think. Like Ardman has like potential, but he's a one
he
trick pony. He lines up 3 receivers on his left, runs PA crossers. That's all he's got.
he's got to win a
He's got
playoff
to
game.
yeah, he's got to do better there.
I mean, he's been the number one seed, I think, once. He's won a lot of games so far, but every year it seems that he gets to that playoff time and then he
Yeah,
just can't get it done. And
and I
I've seen
kind of
him.
kind of forgot about Jawan too, but I think I think what happened in this Madden is Juwan's shit that he usually runs, that little HB dive, a little play action with the coming across. It's not as effective in this one. So I
Yeah,
really need to see him adapt. And like I think Joey was saying, he runs hurry up. You kind of know it's like he's
right.
got to add more to his game to, I think, get over B-Mill and Joey and Coop now. I
Yeah,
think he
and
kind of that worked in 21 with Saquon, and when the game was kind of built that way, it's not
right.
working as well now.
Because yeah, I mean, there was a time in 21 where Jawan, I mean, he was almost not
He
not
was
to your
awesome.
level, but like he did win. He was like undefeated. He won multiple Super Bowls in a row, and
Yeah.
nobody could
Dude, he was
stop him.
stressing me the fuck out. I'm like, I know he's running HB dive right at me. I'm gonna fucking bring the house. It just worked every single time.
I remember watching some of them games. It's like like when the guys were streaming, and they were just I just felt pressure for both of you guys. I was like, this has got to be so
Bro, but it's like
stressful.
even worse when you get beat and somebody's doing shit that catches you off guard, or it's a great
Right.
call or something and he beats you. Like, you just tip your cap. Like, you great football play. But like when you know exactly what's fucking coming and you still get beat, like that drives me nuts more than anything.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm the worst. I mean, like I know what you're gonna do, and I just can't stop it because I
Yeah.
don't. I just don't. I don't know if I like care. I don't know. I definitely care,
You gotta
but
get in
it's
the
like
lab.
I yeah, gotta get in the
Gotta get in the
lab. You know what I
lab. You
mean?
gotta
That's all it
adjust.
is. But so let me ask you this: what are your some of your teams like that surprised you, not winning wise, but
Yeah.
losing wise? Like, because I mean, I'm
I'd
looking
say, I
at
mean, Jawan jumps out right away.
right.
I immediately thought he'd be competing with B-Mill every year in that division.
Okay, yeah,
One other thing I got to talk about with B-Mill's division, because this drove me nuts. Like, so we did the 4-4 thing. We broke off, right?
right,
Top four. John kind of got fucked. He deserved it. But basically, what I'm getting at is, like, right when the league started, right? We just had our draft. I got Coop tanking right away. I got
right.
Joey tanking like right away. I got Jawan trading everybody's got right away. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, you're literally letting this dude win 16 games a year, upgrade all of his dudes, and go right to the Super Bowl every year. Like
right,
you three are the ones who are supposed to be like leveling him out a little bit. I got the Bengals and Tuck giving me the fucking hardest games of my life every week.
right,
These three are selling picks, trading their team, letting B-Mill just roll. Like
right,
easier
right,
division, easier conference. At the time, I mean, now they're starting to compete and build their
right.
teams. I get it.
Yeah, it's
But like,
definitely.
if we just do our initial draft, what are you doing drafting a team where you're gonna have to tank like right away?
Yeah, that's like you had like the first or second pick, and you picked Lamar Jackson, and all of a
Yeah, like why are
sudden
you
you're
trading him?
trading him.
It
Yeah,
makes
I
no
would never
sense to me.
trade him.
Like I
I
pick
would.
my whole team like 22-year-old players over that I'm just gonna go upwards arrow with the whole time.
I don't. I just don't understand that. I mean, I know you got like a great deal for Lamar, but like, if I had that and I had either Patrick
Yeah,
Mahomes or Lamar Jackson,
untouchable.
I would never trade them. I
I
don't
mean,
care
Lamar is the
if.
best player in Madden since like Vic.
Oh yeah, because he's just so quick, and then he's got an arm.
Yeah,
So
no,
it's
no
like,
QB is 96 speed and like 99 acceleration. It's not
yeah, no,
possible.
it really isn't. So hopefully he has a plan. But I mean, other than that, who do you like? Who do you think is? I
NFC or
mean,
AFC?
NFC, or it doesn't matter, just
All right, yeah, I
anybody.
was gonna say I feel like I kind of touched on the NFC. The usual guys in the NFC. Ardman's kind of an outlier at times, but he's got to win a
Right.
playoff game. And AFC wise, I think two dangerous teams are Seth when he's locked in, and you know, like he's obviously beaten me, but he's got the talent on his team every year. I mean, his team's always loaded. And another guy that's got probably the best team in the league, I think maybe outside of mine or close to it, is Tornetta. I mean, he rolls
Oh
in the
yeah.
NFC South. I can't wait till his ass is in our division next year at the eighth
See,
guy.
that's the one thing.
That's what drives me nuts with him.
If I would change anything, I know John nuked the league and we're
Yeah,
punishing him and all that, but if Tornetta and John switched, and then
that'd be
like
huge. And Tornetta's
because
team would be a lot worse because he wouldn't be rolling on everybody every week, and he
yeah,
wouldn't be get. He honestly would be having a lot more losses and maybe be on the bubble. Like we get three out of our four teams in every year, but
right.
if Tornetta's the fourth, it might be a lot harder for him to make playoffs.
Exactly. I mean, he just rolls through that division. I know Mexico City gives him a lot of like. I mean,
Yeah,
used to win a lot of games. He's not doing great this year. But other than that, he don't have. There's no one.
those two are the X factors though in the AFC.
Oh yeah.
Just roster wise, they know the glitchy throw and the when I say glitchy, I just mean like the crossers, the
Right.
drags, all
Right.
that bullshit. The way everybody plays, but they don't play that old school ground and pound like Monroe's doing up down in
Right.
Mexico City.
And then the only like the thing with Seth is like he like I said, I think it was episode 1 where he has all these double digit wins a year.
Yeah,
he beat you the one time, but I think after that, I don't know if he's had another playoff victory.
Yeah.
You know, so like I'm looking for him, right? Him and Ardman to make a jump, right?
Yep.
If they could get
Those three are kind of a little pack of their own, like
right,
Cornetto, Ardman, and Seth. They've
right,
talented teams. They know how to play the game. They just can't beat the top yet.
right, exactly. So, so you would say that if you don't win a Super Bowl this year, complete disappointment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my team's going to start to get older. I'm paying everybody, and this is definitely the year. With Jawad, I mean, with Warren out, it's going to come down to me talking Tornado most likely.
Right,
Tuck does have my number at times. I mean, we've played each other fucking 50 times. We know everything each other's doing.
right.
He drives me nuts. But yeah, I need to win this year for sure. At least get to the bowl, but definitely
Yeah.
need to win.
So I think what you're trying to say is you're settling the goat debate because you have 5, 6, 7, 8. You have
Ten,
nine,
10 with this one too.
10 with this
Yeah,
one.
so
Okay, I
7
didn't put
first year, 2 second year, 1 this year, 10 total. B Mills got 2 this year, I think 3 last year, and then 1 the year before. So he's at about 6. So it's about 10-6 there.
10 to 6, and,
You know,
so
it
I
kind of
mean,
reminds me of like Mahomes. If Mahomes wins a Super Bowl this year, everyone's gonna say he's like the GOAT, all this shit, and they forget just all the shit Brady was doing for 20
right.
years.
People don't realize that Tom Brady is probably the only quarterback to come like well when he beat Atlanta, but yesterday, I mean, regardless of win or loss, for him to bring that team back the way they did, I know the defense made a couple stops, but I mean, people will easily forget if Mahomes win about Tom Brady.
Yeah, but
But
just it's the recency bias. It's the day we live in, social media, all that shit.
right. Oh, and by the way, that game, did you watch? You watched that
Oh,
Buffalo Bills game,
games were
right?
nuts. I felt so bad for Josh Allen.
Oh, so did I, dude.
And I'm
He
like
was
I
just
like Mahomes and the Chiefs, but like
so do I.
I
But
wanted to
like
see Allen win.
same here, and like he was just throwing straight. That last pass he threw to Davis for the touchdown with
Yeah,
13 seconds left.
and the fourth
That
and 14. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that ball
awesome.
was on a fucking line. That thing was like,
Just
oh,
rockets.
yeah, like I mean, shit. Um,
But yeah, so to the GOAT, I'll settle the GOAT debate quick. The Super Bowl is about 10-6. If BMO goes on a run, I will gladly say, he's earned it. He's passing me, whatever. But we start with the Super Bowls 10-6. That's that. Then we go to head to head. Everybody knows I've had his number for the 3 years. At least higher win percentage there for sure. And then lastly, we had a Madden Christmas tournament. We all put in money, random teams. I lost
yeah,
the first game to Tuck, went all the way through the losers bracket, and won the whole thing.
this
So we
is
got
this is last not this year,
this
but
was
the
last
last year.
Christmas.
Right,
Yeah, so
right.
I head to head Super Bowls, MML Christmas tournament. I check all the boxes in my eyes.
And I mean, you make a strong argument. I do believe that you are one and he is two.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Just because
respect his
of
game for sure.
the Super Bowls and that lengthy. I mean, I don't think we'll ever see a run like you had in 20 where you won to 6 straight.
Yeah, I mean now the talent. I said it right when we started. After like 2 years, it was like the MML talent with a little up arrow. Like everyone's
Oh
getting better.
yeah,
Even the people at the bottom, like they're starting to compete for playoffs now. Like those
right,
types of shit. Like, and that's like one thing I did want to touch on at some point there in this. Just I respect how everybody's got their own thing going. Like
right,
you got some people competing for Super Bowls. You said on the last pod, like if I win a division title, like that's my shit talking. If I win like Jags, like if Jags beats like me, Bengals or Tuck, like that's a great season. Like everybody's got their own thing. Some people want the low pick. Some people
right.
are just trying to get in the playoffs. It's just like I like how everyone competes to what they want to get.
And that's what I was saying. I think it was me and Ahmad. I was like, listen, like we know like that we probably won't ever make it to the Super Bowl. So like my main goal is like I want to win a division title and I want to maybe one playoff win. You know what I mean? And I'm cool with that. Like I
Yeah.
know where I'm at, you know what I mean? And like if I some magically make it to the Super Bowl, then great. But like for me to have a successful year, it's like a division title and to be in the playoffs because you never know what could happen. Not saying I'm going to go on this crazy run, but like to get there. And I think that think I speak for most of the guys in like the lower, the lower tiers, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. Like if we get to the playoffs and we win one, like Seth, right? He beat you.
Yeah.
year or season one, right? I do think if he runs the ball a little more, he could probably compete for a Super Bowl. I
Yeah,
think he's got enough firepower on the offensive side to do that. But for him, beating you is like, he's got you. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like my thing is like I beat Brian once, I beat Joey once, I want to beat you.
I remember
I-
you brought it up one of the other ones. You were like, I remember I texted you. You were like, I'm gonna fucking beat you. And I remember I
right,
wrote back. I said, I hope you do. Like
right,
literally.
no, yeah,
Like, and that's the way I feel towards every single player in this league. Like, I hope you guys, as Warren likes to say, get in the lab. But I hope you guys get in the lab and like honestly beat my ass. Like, it makes me feel good when I see all of you guys getting better.
right, because like beating one of you guys, it's like I can do it. It gives you that little
Yeah.
bit of
And
glimmer
it's
of
even when
hope,
somebody
like
on like else does it, it gives you hope.
right.
You could do it too.
So right before we end this, is there anything else you want to touch on about the MML? Where do you think it's at? Pros, cons? What
Yeah,
do you like,
I'm
dislike?
peeking through now. I kind of talked about like the top guys a lot, and then the guys that are kind of on the bubble of getting to the top. A little shout out to just everybody at the bottom too, who's just trying to get in the playoffs. Like all those divisions, like your division, I think like what's the other one that's always competing? Like the NFC South's like a great division.
Right.
Talking shit, just trying to get in, maybe make a little noise. And then yeah, just in general, I think we talked a little about the play calling. Like I'd like to see when people do adapt, like try not to be running all that like old school shit and like
Right.
try to like see what overall try like Forrest said I think at one point like how he got better was he just started watching the streams of better guys like just take some shit we're doing and try it like I
Yeah, he
know it's
told
kind
me
of
that.
glitchy yeah but like the play calling's a big deal and it obviously matters a lot like the 3-3-5 is very effective yeah and like when it comes like getting in the lab and like changing the plays, like your brother's one that always cracks me up just to roast him for like a sec. Like he's bitching to me after the like Tornado is another one. So your brother, first off, he's bitching. You run these glitch plays, blah blah blah. I go, bro, the plays I'm running don't help when you throw the ball to my linebacker the first two plays
Right.
of the game. It has nothing to do
Right.
with the plays I'm running. You literally
Right.
threw it to my chest and I brought it to the house twice. Like,
Yeah.
make a better throw, run the ball, do whatever. But
Right. Right.
your brother cracks me up because I know he gets football and he just gets agitated.
Yeah, he
And
does.
then who's the other one? That's fine. Tornado's bitching after the game. Not gonna lie, luckiest player after the playoffs ever playing Madden. I go, dude, you didn't score a touchdown. It's nothing to do
Right.
with luck.
Right.
Like if you scored, it was a close game, and I got a bullshit play, sure,
Yeah.
but just own it. And
Yeah, but I think that's also it gives you like that's what the MML is all about.
bet.
You got to have people in your DMs bitching about something. You know
Yeah,
what I
you
mean?
guys say
Like,
too, like you can't take it that seriously, but when we're all doing this shit an hour a day, bitching all the
right?
time, like it gets serious at times. You get your
Oh
brain
yeah,
blown.
definitely.
And then, yeah, I'm gonna think things the game needs to improve on. We kind of touched on, but the run blocking they got to add something to counter the X factors. Maybe make some O line traits, some upgrading O line or something to
Right.
counter it. That'd be cool to see. When the DBs are just running like stride for stride, like I have 99
Right.
Ochocinco speed, and somebody's pressing me with like a 91 speed, and somehow he runs with them the whole way.
There, yeah, that shouldn't happen.
And then, yeah, like the franchise, more customizations. I thought the coaching tree shit's pretty cool, but they didn't have
Right.
enough still. It's like a little bit. And then the CPU rules we're kind of getting into now. We need to come up with something for
Yeah,
that.
we got to figure something out there because it's just ridiculous sometimes when I look on the thing and you played the computer and
Yeah.
you threw for 900 yards and
It's
12
like,
touchdowns. I'm
and it's
like,
like
come
if
on,
everybody's
man.
gonna do it, you're gonna do it. But at some point,
Right.
we got to come up with something there.
I just think you should eliminate them.
Yeah, but then it's like hard. Like I think Warren brought up, he's like, well, what if I have a game versus
That's
like
true. You're
somebody
right.
who's shitty, and I have a dev game, and I want to play it and get it versus them, but then I got to play you the next week. Like
No,
it kind
yeah.
of
We have to
has its
figure
pros and
something
cons.
out. We have to figure something out there because, it's sometimes it's not fair because like you could play like say like two guys are on the bubble, someone's trying to get an X Factor quarterback and one team plays the computer and then the other team plays like a tough team like you or Brian or somebody like the other dude ain't gonna get it against you guys. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? But the
it's just different.
computer, like you're gonna pretty much get it
Yeah.
because you know which plays to run. So hopefully Madden listens a little bit
Dude, they gotta just
because
the O line would make the biggest difference.
oh
You
yeah,
just gotta change that.
if like because like two X Factor D linemen and a superstar O lineman just cancel each other out and it's
Dude, I
just
got
like
like an
regular blocking.
88 like right tackle who's like 24 right now. I'm not even gonna sign him because I'm like I can pick up a 74 can do the same shit.
Exactly. It's like my whole O line I like. I used to think I needed superstars, but they
Yeah.
don't mean
Yeah,
nothing.
you used to always have like Ronnie Stanley and shit.
Right, right.
Um,
You always wanted him. I think I
the
did give him
last
to you.
thing, like for every one of the teams, I'd like to see, is kind of what the game is prove on what everybody needs to think about is like more teams need to start realizing like I think you're a prime example when you got a guy like Anthony Schwartz who's like a 71 and he's
Yeah,
97 speed. He's honestly maybe more valuable than like Mike Evans who's like an 88 speed fucking X factor. Like
you're
that's the
right.
craziest part of this game. So I'd just like to see like the team, every team, just start to realize, that's so important.
In my defense, this is early on in the
Yeah,
first
I'm just saying
season.
people
No, no,
like
I know
that. People
because I
like
do it
that.
all the fucking
Yeah,
time, and I didn't like. I was like, I'm running the ball, I'm running the ball, I'm running the ball, and then I'm like, oh, I can't. Like, it doesn't like I can still run the ball, but like I need like a speed guy on the outside, and
yeah.
now I'll never make that mistake again.
And then it goes hand in hand with like I hate the way the game really just has no value for a guy like Mike Evans or like Keenan Allen,
Right,
somebody who's like an X factor, like 88 speed. Like honestly, they're worthless.
right.
Like you see the Bears trying to trade Michael Thomas for the last fucking 3 seasons.
Yeah, and
Nobody
no one
wants him.
wants them. Yeah,
Like a 99 X factor, like 28 is useless.
yeah. They got to figure something out. I
Like
mean,
make the
hopefully
size
they
like
do.
where you can throw it to Mike Evans versus like a smaller guy. That'd be awesome.
Right, right. Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time out to hop on. You wanted to end this goat debate, and I think you did that with the number of Super Bowls over Brian. And can't thank you enough for hopping on. And I mean, this was
Absolutely.
another great episode of Inside the Lab. So I apprate you. Thank you.
Yeah, real
Thanks
quick,
again.
shout out to those slimy Diablos. He told me I had to mention them. Slimy as fuck. All
Yeah,
right,
you
brother.
guys
Thanks
have
for
a
having me
history.
on. Looking forward to tomorrow's episode. I'm sure B-Mill's gonna chirp
Yeah,
back.
it's gonna be a fun one.
Keep doing your thing.
All right, brother.
See you, CP man.
And there you have it. That was Coach Taddy. Wanted to end the goat debate, and I mean, we'll see. We got a good episode for you guys coming up tomorrow. We got the one and only the commish Brian Miller. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your night. Peace.